Francis Ngannou game. No,
okay.
It was a tight bout and a very interesting one. Talking of Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou game. No, in boxing tactics, and I said boxing language. We call it the boxer puncher versus an athlete with free UFC as a bruising striker and has now converted into an outboxer. So a typical boxer puncher versus an outboxer. Yaka boxer puncher, the profile in that to say Anthony Joshua, he goes for a lot of jabs, a lot of combination with the body movements, any idea. But talking of an outboxer or a powerful, Mike Tyson more type, they go all out. They trust their jabs, they trust how almost strong fist, So that is the profile of Francis Ngannou, transiting from an UFC fighter as a bruising striker to an outboxer. In boxing we call something styles make fights. Styles make fights, and the style of Anthony Joshua is a boxer puncher, and the style of Brandon Ndidi Francis Ngannou a bruising striker when he was an UFC fighter, now transiting into a typical boxer in the like of an outboxer. Now, Anthony Joshua analysis no so, but he is one manner. He sticks to a tight plan whenever he's in a bout against the opponent, and that tight plan. What was that plan? Ultimately knocking out Francis Ngannou. It is the combination jabs. In boxing, your free BB combination jumps. Say, Anthony Joshua, he's one boxer. He's always behind a high defensive guard. Now, a high defensive guard, everything that comes off, air jabs. Now, in this game, there was this interesting jab combination. Because it was a short fight, but there were a lot of tactics inside that fight.
Okay.
That jab combination was jab, 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 then the right hand. Or yes or no, or the confuse Francis Ngannou working on the body movement, because at first, Francis Ngannou's focus was to protect his face, because a one media knocking out opponents, So him actually first defending his face, he needed to shift the attention of Francis Ngannou from the facial defense, to the body defense. Then he can go forward. That punch a bit knocking out Francis Ngannou. So he started with a 6 jab combination, which is the jab, 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 then followed by the right jab. It is our right jab, Lucy focusing on the body. Then another jab combination took place, which is the jab, jab, right. So that jab, jab, right, together with the left hook, then knocking out Francis Ngannou. That is why Francis Ngannou bet in a press conference now can say this is a deserving win for Anthony Joshua. He has really fought and he has really gained that way. But one thing about Anthony Joshua and Tank can say he's really vulnerable due to the style as a boxer puncher. He's vulnerable when it comes to the opponent also jabbing him, because in order to get that accuracy in that jab combination, and your opponent so bet me land some punches on you, and that is one thing I think say Anthony Joshua made me take it from that side. And the last critic I made me Anthony Joshua, even though I'm not taking credit from him as to win against Francis Ngannou, but in his next bout, I think he has to work a lot on his foot movement, because most of the times he's caught flat-footed, and when you are going to face against those you seek name Tyson Fury
because this bout winner no ebe face Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk.
Yeah. Yes. So these two boxers, they are punishers in the arena. Say Ebanesana, he has to work a lot on his foot movement, because if you can't adjust your foot, then it means you can't run away from certain attacks, especially against an outboxer. But in this case, having someone like Francis Ngannou, who is inexperienced in boxing, ultimately surviving in this game, but to go all out against an outboxer and I say a swammer, Obetimia and knock out Anthony Joshua. So credit to Anthony Joshua as a boxer puncher, because and then a boxer puncher has defeated an outboxer in boxing.
In Sanka we Francis Ngannou or experience pan go betima knock Anthony.
Oh yeah, because which jab combinations now or the finish Francis Ngannou a basics. So 6 jab combination, the jab, then the right,
Okay.
Then you switch to the double jab, which is the double jab, which is jab, then left to break the defense of the opponent. Then you go in for the left hook, a basic. Okay. But you could see it's inexperience, now I'm Francis Ngannou. It's me abono. If I think say overcomplicated the whole fight, in the basics, it's me abo Francis Ngannou. Because in the first round on Okeno, I'm not top form. Yeah. Then in the second half, the same thing. So I think say these are basics. Francis Ngannou also getting it right.
I say Francis Ngannou, you're the woman. Now coaching no.
Now to the big game.
Of course.
When Etiefo in Apese, I think send them taking Etiefo by storm.
Of course.
Because mostly they don't know say I do boxing as well. Now to my favorite field, which is the tactical analysis of Liverpool and Manchester City.
Okay.
This is a big game in England. And talking of big game, no, I'll start from the side of Jurgen Klopp. Now, looking at Jurgen Klopp, no, he has been one coach. He has been very adaptable to the league he plays and the opponents he normally faces. Now, he has done a lot of adjustments, and that adjustment, has to do with the defensive demands of new opponents, in the league. Talking of the defensive demand in the league, was shifted from a typical 4-3-3 Christmas tree to a typical 4-3-3 convertible WW or MW shape. And on a Liverpool this time around this season, more dynamic in their play because they are unpredictable. It is due to the MW and the WW shaper this season. More adapted, moving away from that 4-3-3 Christmas tree because now you don't have inside forwards in the likes of Sadio Mane and that of Robert Firmino dropping in between the lines to link up play. You don't get that, so you need to adjust. And in this system now, we are shifting from that typical Christmas tree 4-3-3 to MW and a WW shape. Abua, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Robertson, especially when it comes to their defensive demands and I say defensive duties because mostly now. Opponents, one yet a lot of turnovers are not intimate defending, but in this 4-3-3 MW and WW shape, Abua Liverpool when it comes to their rest defense. Now, the second one this season, Liverpool has been very dominant, and them being dominant is due to one thing: it is how rotational our one players when it comes to their positioning. Now, when we talk of superiorities in football, there are three superiorities in football. We have the numerical superiority, where the overload comes into play. We have the quantitative superiority, then positional superiority, and the qualitative superiority. Now, looking at the qualitative superiority, it is when opponent a weak link of the team, then you put your quality player, your best player, and the attributes against that player. It's a banasana. The quality actually outbalance the opponent, and that is the qualitative one you see. So looking at that positional superiority, that is where they are rotational rotations, teams rotations so you could see a lot of attacking triangles use it to exploit the opponents in the loopholes. So first, when Liverpool miss a team, they investigate the team. How do they investigate? They use their rotations, and that rotation is by the use of that attacking triangles to exploit the relationships now against opponents now facing now. In terms of starting, we've talked about the flexible attacking triangles. Now, one thing last time Mekan was say against Chelsea was chaos. Liverpool is the master of chaos in modern football. To cause chaos in midfield, especially if Womunim said they don't have that mechanical midfielders now they used to have in Fabinho and Jordan Henderson. Now they have technique, which are technical players operating in midfield. So this time around, they are not going to do that 1v1 tackles in midfield to win the ball, because now they have ball carriers who are shuttlers. They are connected in the midfield. That is from defensive lines to the attacking lines. So what do you have to do? What is the plan? Obey to media restricting opponents from penetrating in the midfield. It is the use of chaos. Liverpool is the master of chaos. About the chaos, let's cause chaos and win all the second balls. That is one thing I think Manchester City I will say looking out for if they really want to go all out in this game. Now, the interesting one also, Liverpool wamota AUC I'm attack and blend it so well. A typical Italian ingredient you see when it comes to tactics that is you are the chef, which is the coach. So if Moko one way na also do two one way no two so opponent no a loophole man. So one ingredient I mean who say Abraham Dini Jurgen Klopp or they run a tactical and as the penetrative aspect of play the use of mezzales. When we talk of mezzales, he uses both mezzales, which is the mezzala destra and the mezzala sinistra. The mezzala destra operates from the right hand side of midfield. Otimiye overlap. Operates to say a fullback. Ebanesana operates a fullback, and then the Emma license to Arnold say Obi ram midfield. And the mezzala sinistra to on the left hand side in terms of Harvey Elliott, which most of the time to me position on our left wing. Then Luis Diaz ebetimi ewrem operating around or inside the 18-yard box. So these are the two ingredients I mean who say Liverpool for injecting in their penetrative aspects, especially when they are in the opponent's third half. And that is one thing I think say if City etimi cancel out, they can neutralize the attack of Liverpool.
Okay.
Now the interesting aspect of Liverpool playing in now is how our front still composed in front of goal. And then idea being here a team to succeed, especially in this title run.
Okay.
So that is one thing I actually ama Liverpool. Now fast forward. Remember me just akabe 2 minutes. Me fan tackle Manchester City. Manchester City Pep Guardiola head coach. He's still in the experimental phase, even at this point of the season, because yet still he has not found the right balance for his squad. And talking of the right balance, Ebanesana, he has to do much more game management in every game Obi against the big boys. Because in every tight game, you will need the 12th player. Not from the fans, but from your head coach. Pep Guardiola has always been the 12th player for Manchester City against the big boys. Then the 13th player becomes the fans. So in order for City to activate the 12th player in this game, Pep Guardiola, how in terms of game management? Because the right balance has not been gotten yet. So he needs to coordinate everything from the touchline. So today, I think that most of the credit has to go to Pep Guardiola if they win the match, because the right balance has not been found yet. So if he gets a good game management, I think that he will get a fair result against Team Ndindi Liverpool. Now, City aren't still convincing in the midfield. I criticize them against Chelsea. I criticize them against Manchester United, but Manchester United lacking depth in midfield, no. And then Man City, it's me dominating one more. Why am I saying that? It is simple. Them not being that convincing enough in midfield, it is because against Manchester United, no, City one thing a man for be braining basso, they omitted their rest defense. Omitted defensive structure now, supporting attacking structure, no, to go all out against Manchester United, especially when they were searching for that equalizer. Now, against a team like Liverpool, they are good at exploiting opponents' loopholes. If you omit your rest defense, they'll punish you.
Okay.
So in this game, if City show weakness by going all out and omitting their rest defense, Liverpool will punish them. That is the next thing I missed against Manchester City. Now, City will need a plan B. And that plan B, should shy away from that link up now. Kevin De Bruyne, any Haaland, in this existing Manchester City team, no more. Because if that link up doesn't happen, Liverpool for any remedy, cancel out that thing, and they don't have a second planner, they will suffer at Anfield, and that is another critical. Made the Manchester City side now. Pep Guardiola will use a lot of principles in this game because now he is actually adjusting to the tune of tactical periodization. Last time, the can be about the principle of specificity, and that principle of specificity, it is when your players actually are tuned, they can actually replicate whatever you want them to do on the field of play from the board, which is the tactical board, to the pitch. If players and they don't play cohesively, they will lose against Liverpool, and that is one thing I missed with this Manchester City side. Now, I would tip Liverpool to win this game because of the 12th player in Jurgen Klopp. The boys are playing for Klopp because they know it is his last season. He will be the 12th player, and that 13th player would be Anfield.
Okay.
Anfield. You will never walk alone.
Okay, into the the super legend. And Watan and Kano or the Femu or a Kutukubo. And no dear baby, a gamer, Yamia Duma